I'm basically the biggest Doom fanboy that you can find.
Absolutely 100%. I knew when he told me that we were going to review this. I honestly didn't want to do it at first because I just know how much he loves the game. And it's not a bad thing, it's not, but he's not lying. He loves Doom.
I don't like this game.
What? No, I cannot believe you just said that. That is not what I expected. This is going to be interesting.
Here's the thing. I do like Doom. I'm not obsessed with Doom enough that I would say it's the best game of all time. I think it is the most influential game of all time, but it's not the best game of all time. And the reboot is pretty good, and they did a really good job of making it interesting, but it's also not the best game of all time. I'm not going to be playing Doom again. I beat it, and I'm done with it, and that's where I am with that. This is almost lazy. It is a completely standalone Doom game. It takes place in the same universe, but you are not Doom Guy. It is a VR first title, and it is absolutely taking place in the Doom universe. You're fighting the Doom 2016 bad guys. You're fighting imps and the marines and the zombies, and you're fighting the archdemons, and you're fighting, I don't remember what they're called, thingies that float around. Like, they're all there, and you're playing against them, and you're using Doom weapons, but there's no movement because it's a teleport game. Now, that's a problem because this is Doom. And Doom is the godfather of fast-paced movement, where you run and gun. It's literally where it came from. It doesn't have that.
Teleportation is incompatible with what I envisioned when I read about this game before release. Never really looked into the locomotion and how it would work, but now that I know that it's teleportation, it's like, huh? I'm not digging that part of it at all. And you also said it's a standalone experience. I was expecting them to basically remake Doom 2016 in VR, but that isn't what they've done here.
That's correct. This is a completely separate story. It's a completely separate everything. The teleport itself isn't terrible. It's just not great. It is a very standard teleport. We've seen this in a lot of other games. When you click the teleport button, time will slow down around you. You can then move yourself to wherever, and you'll transport across the room, and suddenly you're there. Also allow you to do the glory kills from the remake by teleporting into somebody, and then they explode like you would expect. It's not terrible, it's just not great. They also have a dash movement where you can click on your control pad, and instead of teleporting, if you click on the sides, you can kind of do a little side dash or a front dash. It doesn't go very far, and it's okay. It's not great, but it's alright.
The dash seems like it would help. I mean, when you said that, I felt, well, at least there's that. Can't quite picture in my head how useful the dash would be in an actual, gunfight, or when you're in the middle of a fight with these monsters. Is it actually that useful, or is it just kind of there?
I will say that the dash is basically the only time that I have felt that it was doomy, and it wasn't for very long. I really want to like this game, and I think that there is a feeling of Doom there. It's just not there enough.
It feels like Doom to me. It looks like Doom. The music is doomy. The atmosphere, like you said, it's in the same world. You can easily tell that this takes place, in Doomland, just like Doom 2016 did. They look similar in their environments, but from a gameplay perspective, perhaps it isn't because it's slow, right? I mean, that's the easiest way to put it, I think.
Now that you've played VR, you can probably a little bit more closely understand that what you see on the screen doesn't necessarily relate to what is actually happening.
Yeah, not at all. When I've seen footage from VR before, I never knew until I put a headset on that, no, it's not even close. They're two totally different experiences.
The dash opens it up a little bit, and it makes it feel a little bit more like you're actually playing Doom. But it's an incredibly slow Doom, and the teleportation is strange. You can only teleport directly in front, directly behind, or directly to the side, so you don't even have 360-degree control, which is very strange. And it's also kind of useless in a lot of occasions, because I tell you what, if you've played Doom, you know that Doom doesn't have straight back and forth walls. Everything is kind of crooked and natural feeling, because it's a well-designed game, so it's not just a blank corridor. That leads to an occasion where you're playing the game You get stuck on something and you can't get out of it, and there's a bad guy standing in front of you that you can't teleport past, and you can't teleport through, so you're just stuck there. And oh, by the way, he's so close that your gun doesn't recognize that it's shooting him. So you're just standing there going, what the f*** am I supposed to do here? And it's a terrible experience. It's one of the worst experiences that you could have playing a Doom game. Because I tell you what, I want to like this game, but I don't.
That level of jankiness is unacceptable, especially when they're charging $30 for this. This is supposed to be revolutionary. This is supposed to be Doom in VR. This is supposed to be something that, you know, we can show off and people can go, oh, this is the future of VR. This is what it's going to be like. This is amazing. But instead, it's kind of a letdown, apparently, with that sort of bugginess. And, you know, one thing that I wonder about, with it being as slow-paced as it is, in comparison to how fast Doom normally is, were they worried about people getting sick if they were to try to make it as fast as a real Doom game?
Absolutely, 100% that is what it was. They announced it at the beginning because the very first things that happened when Doom was first announced was VR was making people ill. And it was happening a lot. And it still happens a lot. It just, we've experienced enough out there that there are better solutions than the ones that they decided to do. Now, the PSVR version will apparently include a thumb-pad locomotion or a D-pad movement, which I feel like will be a big step up for this title. On the Oculus version, which didn't even work for the first couple of days, and the Steam version on Vive, which only has teleportation, I felt Doom. I really did. And I love Doom. I wanted that feeling, and when I felt it, I was like, man, here you go, this is Doom. When you get into those big battles, this is Doom. Doom is not slow, however. Doom doesn't have moments where the main character is talking to you about the plot. Doom does not have moments where you have to sit and listen to somebody explain the next mission for 4 or 5 minutes. Doom does not have moments where you're going through firefighting instead of battling demons. Doom, every single time that you fought somebody in Doom, it was the hardest fight of the game. Every single time. You fought a dude, and then you fought 2 dudes, and then you fought 3 dudes, and then you fought 3 dudes that were more badass than the last 3. Now you're fighting 4 dudes. Now you're fighting 15 dudes. And oh yeah, by the way, now you're fighting 50 dudes, and all 50 of them would kick your ass at the beginning of the game.
And that's part of Doom. That's central to Doom. It's the part of it that is supposed to make you a little bit scared of continuing on because it gets more difficult. And the difficulty curve works that way, and it's well paced.
The whole idea of the glory kills was, we're going to keep you moving forward. We're not going to have you sit there and wait for a shield to regenerate. We're not going to have you go hunting for health. No, you're going to kill somebody, and that's how you're going to get health. And you know what? This doesn't have it. It is slow, and it's not very Doom-like.
Man, I'm disappointed to hear all of this. But you did say at least maybe it'll be a little better on PSVR when I pick it up. Because I'm still going to pick it up, because it's Doom VR, and it's a thing, right? It's a thing that everybody was really excited about. So even if I am disappointed with it, I still want to try it. But I have to say, I'm not as excited about it as I once was.
It just isn't Doom. And man, like, I want to say go buy it, because quite frankly, we need games like Bethesda and like Doom are doing to do well for the betterment of VR. Like, if Doom doesn't sell, they're going to stop making VR games. So, like, part of me wants to say, yeah, you should absolutely go buy it, guys. But at the same time, it's just not good. And it could be good, but it's not. You're essentially a super soldier who takes no damage. You move like, geez, I don't know, some old guy. The entire movement is just janky and not right. It's so slow. And that whole thing makes me sad, because I love Doom, and I wanted this game so much to be excellent, and I've followed it since they first announced it. I remember hearing all of the things, and when they said, oh, we've revolutionized teleportation, we've figured it out, we know how to make it good and clean and smooth and fun, And then 6 months later, an indie title came out that had the exact same kind of locomotion, and it was okay. And it's constantly felt that way of they're not where they should be. I don't know why I should ever be listening to narrative voiceovers in Doom. I don't know why there's only one battle in every mission, followed by several minutes of wandering around doing nothing. I don't know why this isn't Doom.
Perhaps they did not envision Doom VR as being enough like Doom because they thought that it was going to be a different market. VR is still, as you say, a nascent technology, and like I was talking about the other day on one of our other videos, they're still trying to figure out how to piece together the mechanics and the gameplay part of it with the story and the narrative part of it, and that was something that, like we said, doesn't really happen with the first-person shooter genre. With the original Doom, you get that combination of story and that, starting with like Half-Life a few years later, and I think this is falling victim to that same sort of thing as well, where they're missing some sort of link. They're not understanding something about the link between the gameplay and the fact that this is a Doom game. And a Doom game stands for quite a few things to people that have been fans of the series for so many years. And somewhere along the way, they lost sight of that and instead started thinking about how do we make a VR game that's going to appeal to people in a new way.
There are hacking minigames in my Doom VR.
That's silly. It sounds like Mass Effect or something.
If this wasn't Doom, I would say that this is a competent but kind of misses the mark indie title.
Wow.
That is disappointing.
That is very disappointing.
It's good, it looks pretty. You know, id Tech has been a beautiful, wonderful, incredible graphics engine. I think it is probably the prettiest graphics engine out there. It's too bad that it's only ever used for, you know, one game every 5 years. But the id Tech technology, John Carmack is a genius, but he didn't make this game. John Romero, he invented the entire thing. He didn't make this game. Who made this game is a bunch of people who said, we can sell this title and make a bunch of money. That's how it felt. And it's so depressing.
It's precisely what I meant and what I was trying to explain, but because you know who actually made it and it's not those guys, that makes a lot of sense. It's VR, but it's not Doom VR, if that makes sense.
That's exactly it. This is a very competent first-person shooter in VR, but it's not Doom. It shouldn't be called Doom because you don't play a Doom game in this. You play a mod of a Doom game. You play a game that is inspired briefly or inspired lightly by Doom. You're playing a game that has the same assets as Doom, but it is not Doom.
Yeah, it's like one of those movies that you see that is based loosely on a book and then it's nothing like the book at all. It's kind of the same thing here, right?
That's how it feels, and I believe that you can trust me when I'm saying this because I wanted to love this game. I still want to love the game. It is my dire hope that Bethesda watches this video and all the videos like it and they go, oh, we can make these small little fixes and make this a glorious Doom game. And then they do it, and it's fantastic. I don't think that there's a whole lot more that I can say about it, because ultimately I feel like I've gotten the point across.
Yes, and you are very passionate about this, so people don't think that it's just ripping this game to shreds. It's just his love for Doom makes him this passionate.
I love the title, and I want to love this title, and I hope they fix it and make it glorious. I really, really do. This is a $30 title, and I do not recommend it, and it breaks my heart to say that.
Well, I'm probably still going to pick it up at some point, but I'm with you. I'm not going to recommend it because it doesn't seem like it's worthy of $30 at this point.
It's not worthy of the title, and that's painful to say. So there you go, guys. That is Doom VFR. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But if you did like it, go ahead and watch another one up there in the corner. And as always,
we'll see you guys on the next one.